Tonight we're going to be talking about the eighth direction. So if you haven't got a copy of my book yet, please get a copy, The Sacred Seven. You can get a free copy on thesacred7.com. I encourage you to go there, go check it out. Please share this message, invite some friends. We are going to break into some optimization tonight, and I really want you to be a part of this. First of all, you deserve to be a part of this. You deserve this information. You deserve to understand the optimization of your own reality. And I really believe in you. I believe in your process. I believe in the sacredness of your reality. And I also believe that what I'm going to share with you tonight is going to expand your consciousness. It's going to open you up. And what I'm feeling, what comes forward for me is revelation. Thanks, Lisa, for being here. You're always such a great conduit, and really appreciate you for all your sharing and for all your comments and all the things that you bring into the community. So what are we talking about tonight? I want to get right into it. I want to get right into the process here of the eighth direction. The eighth direction is one that I feel can really help us in this time that we're living in. I also want to talk a little bit about confirmation bias and the 3 key steps to understanding. Oh, thank you, Elijah. That's great. Yeah. Love him. Mystic being. Yes. So powerful. I still remember our first interaction. Really great times. Would be actually this time, of the year is when we would be going over there to visit with you all. But nevertheless, here we are on technology, visiting again. So what we're talking about tonight, and just tuning in to the Holy Spirit, tuning in to the guidance, tuning in to the revelation, really optimizing communication, because I feel this delivery is so important, so vital for what we're all faced with. So important for us because it gets into the very expanse of metaphysical architecture, the foundational building blocks of reality, and how we choose to create these principles. These are some of the very powerful tools that ancient communities throughout the world have used that have been in a distortion pattern for many years inside of the corporate arena. But I'm going to break that down for you tonight. I'm going to break down the idea of entities and how that language, how that causality has been a part of the formation of deities within communities to serve certain purposes, and that how that translated into our contemporary culture and the creation of corporate entities. I'm going to share with you how energy creates density tonight, and I'm also going to allow for the conversation to open up in the way in which we begin to serve the optimization of our reality. How do we begin to harness these tools of energetic manipulation? Of course, when I'm talking about manipulation, I'm talking about how a chiropractor manipulates the body, how the body is manipulated back into flow. And by feeling into that space, by feeling into that process, we can really allow ourselves to begin to elevate and begin to experience the real vastness of perception. When we loosen ourselves from the hyper-focus, we loosen ourselves from the captivity. So many of us are caught in captivity right now. One of the main tools that has been a form of deception that's out there right now is this confirmation bias epidemic that's going on. There is a lack of the ability to recognize confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is something that we all have. It's liberating to recognize it within yourself. It's liberating to have the consciousness to understand your confirmation bias. And when you do, you will begin the key steps to finding your sovereignty. How do you find your sovereignty? Sovereignty is really emotional freedom relative. It's the ability to understand yourself. I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself here in the traditional language and the contemporary to get things started off. Dogate, Andrew Ecker Yenishe, Adonne E Nishinigi E Ende Nishe, Irish Bashachin, Ende Dashache, German Dashanali, Akote Go E Tishli E Portland, Oregon Inisha, Shama E Kathy Lindsay Woye, Shaza E Del Ecker Wole. My name is Andrew Ecker, my mother Kathy Lindsay, my father Dale Ecker. My mother's mother Elva Gallegos, Apache woman from New Mexico. My father's mother Evelyn Beatty, Irish woman from Pennsylvania. My mother's father Leroy Lindsay, Apache man from Arkansas. My father's father Wayne Ecker, German and Algonquin from Pennsylvania. I have a daughter Bailey, a son Peyton, a beautiful beloved fiance Monica. I was incarnated into this body in Portland, Oregon, the land of the Multnomah, although I reside here in Phoenix, Arizona, the land of the Akmal the Peeposh, and the Maricopa. So grateful to be here with you tonight talking about confirmation bias. What is confirmation bias? This is your bias to really confirm that which you hold inside of your heart. In this world that we're living in, the distrust, the lack of trust in the governmental organizations, the medical organization, the police department, all of these organizations, the religious organization, the educational organization, it has led us to an innate distrust inside of our education. That innate distrust has created opportunities for us to find confirmation. And when we look at what's going on inside of the systematic, and I'm going to say it again, the systematic eradication of trust, the systematic amount of dissolving unity, the systematic separation, this is the confusion of the illusion. When we begin to separate ourselves, we begin to lose power. When we separate ourselves, we lose power. The place of agreement is the place of power. A cord of many strands is not easily broken. One page of the yellow pages, those that are of us that are old enough, you can rip real easy. The whole book, you're not going to be able to rip. One twig you could break real simple, right? But if you try to break a whole bunch of them, you're going to have trouble, right? So what's going on inside of the division within our contemporary culture? This is strategic. We are in a place in which division is at the heart of the air that we breathe. We are a prime place for occupation right now. And I know that that's scary. That's very scary to realize. It's scary to think inside of ourselves that we could be conquered, this great nation. But the road we're going down, the tools that are being implemented in this world, the fact that we have people that are caught up in fear so deeply that they are indoctrinated into a system of fear. And until we begin to understand our confirmation bias, we can really guarantee that the fortification of the isolation and the fear mentality will begin to spread, and we will have division. So how do we understand how to navigate our confirmation bias? This is important, because I want to get us into the eighth direction, which is really going to be something that's a lot more enthusiastic and a lot more energetic and a lot more spiritual, and all of the powerful things that we're talking about in our community, Sacred Seven community. But I also need to give some real medicine here, some really powerful words of correction, okay? Because where we're going, the deception that is going on right now is really, it is not healthy for any of us. A healthy body is a body that is utilizing its organs and its systems together. If you imagine us as a community together, the place for division is the place of lack. It's the place in which we find ourselves weakened. And how can we restore that sense of trust? That sense of trust comes from understanding that we all have a sense of confirmation bias. And in this world of information, if you are going down the rabbit hole to find your confirmation without listening to the other side of the story, you are going to perpetuate your division inside of your heart. I want you to have the power of resting in the middle of the yin and yang, of understanding the Trinity that is equal on all three sides, the feminine, the masculine, and the child. When you begin to create that equality within your perception, you are going to innately step into sovereignty. You are going to have the ability to navigate the systems of division with clarity. And you're going to realize your potential as a beacon of hope, a beacon of power, a beacon of restoration. I am believing in you for that power that has been held for you by your ancestors, that has been at the dawn of every fire that has burned, every prayer that has been said, all of the medicines that have been taken for the visionary space of where we are at and where we are going. We are going to a place that is better than where we're at. And the more that we realize inside of this container that the community that we have is a lot more expansive than just inside of this small idea, that we are many, that there are many that care about the air, the water, the fire, the earth, that there are many that have been called to this place, that the Creator has designed this time for us as a community to really rest in that place. And as we rest in that place, what we can do is we can be the firm guidance that is led by the Holy Spirit, that is led in the power of the living visionary source energy. I'm talking about the universe commanding every footstep, the universe taking the obedience and the understanding of what it means to walk in love and empathy and compassion. Division and destruction has brought us to a place over and over again within the cycles of the creation to be in a place in which we dissolve. I am praying, and I know that you're joining with me in that prayer, that we step into the place in which the evolution of our consciousness is happening. Look what is being around us. It is a woman giving birth right now. Our mother, our sacred Mother Earth, is giving birth, and her children are feeling the pangs of that birth. She is giving birth to consciousness. She's giving birth to the optimization of living in not just peaceful coexistence, but restorative restoration with the air, the water, the fire, the earth, gravity, time, spirit. I'm talking about the restoration of us understanding how we live in complete concert and complete love with those that are in the unseen, the star nations, those guides that are in the holy realms. This is what happens when we optimize. When we get caught up in speculation and we get caught up in our confirmation bias, we are wasting precious time that we can be generating the optimization of love. Your love is a displacement energy that has the gravity to pull in its likeness. Your trivial ideas that go down the rabbit holes in which you are searching for your confirmation bias are nothing but destructive. They're nothing but destruction. Find your way back to love, relative. Find your way back to the heart space that has compassion. Think about what Jesus said, what the masters said, when they said that we would come into this world as the child. Think about the feminine nature inside of you, how you hold your own child. Your child inside of you looks at this world with powerful faith and curiosity. Activate this nature inside of yourself. Activate this nature and you will have liberation. Your faith has been dissolved by your confirmation bias. Your faith has been dissolved by your ability to see nothing but the negative outcomes of the institutions around you that are bombarding you with information. Realize that in this world, there is more gray area than there is black and white. When you begin to walk in that ability to understand that love, that compassion, that empathy are the guidance, you will see the deliverance of the behaviors that you have come to a place in which you have judged. You will see those around you effortlessly begin to manifest themselves in the form of love and compassion. It is you. You are the one we have been waiting for. You are the power generator that transforms culture. What is at the center of this? It's a punitive resolve. It's a punishment. We are looking for someone to punish when there's no one to punish but ourselves. And there's no need to punish ourselves. We must love ourselves. We must know that we are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones that have been chosen to be in this time. And as we liberate ourselves from this punitive idea of judgment and destruction, we begin to see the optimization. We begin to believe again. And this is how we get to the eighth direction. How do we get to the eighth direction? Here on the Lion's Gate, 8-8. The eighth direction is the unknown direction. The unknown direction is fortified by the metaphysical architecture of, guess what? Your choice. Sovereignty. It is your sovereign choice to believe. It is your sovereign choice to be empowered to believe that the good thing is coming. This is what has been installed in you. The negative forms of energetic manifestation are creating gravity, and they are pulling in those that we love into the matrix of destruction. I'm like the voice crying on the wall right now. As the world finds their separation as their joy, they are eating division right now. Who is going to hold the place of optimization if it is not you? Who is going to be your brother's keeper, your sister's keeper, your family? Who is going to hold the space for you to optimize if it is not you? Are there reasons for you to believe in destruction? Of course. There's books that have been written about the imminent destruction of humanity. But I want to share with you something. It is time for you to hold on to your faith with the strength of the jaws of the lion, calling that out in you to come forward into that place in which you begin to fortify the metaphysical architecture, in which you begin to call on your giftings. Many of you have been sitting in your gifts for way too long. You've been sitting in your abilities, your empathic abilities. You've been sitting in your understanding, your deep calling. You've wondered why people have opened up to you your whole life. You've wondered why they've been called to you your whole life. You've wondered why you've had inspiration, ideas, and connection. And yet you're sitting in that place, stoned, petrified. I'm calling you out of that place today. I'm calling you out to be the activation that holds your hand up and realizes the infinite possibility. The infinite possibility rests within the eighth direction. The eighth direction is the unknown direction in which we create and optimize the fortification of our reality. How are we going to fortify the creation of our reality when so many of us are drunk on destruction? So many of us are smoking destruction right now. So many of us are hooked on the addiction of destruction. We're looking for it in every direction. And that is the very focal point of self-destruction. It is a suicidal ideation to keep following the way of destruction without holding the place of optimization. Believe with me. Have faith with me. They say the faith of the mustard seed can move the mountain. It is time to believe. It is time to realize. It is time to hold tight to that space of the unknown as the clarity that there is a will and a plan and a purpose for what we are going through. I am believing with you for that. I am believing that where we are going is better than where we're at. I am believing that the dissolving of the barriers of greed and destruction and all of the different ideologies that have kept us from coming back to the fireplace, have kept us from coming back to circle, are dissolving. I am believing with you that there is restoration around the world. Hold that hope today. Hold that realization. Hold that ability. You are the one that is in control. You are designing the fortification of the unknown. Why not breathe into the place of realizing that you have control enough to believe that a good thing is coming? It is challenging to believe. It is a struggle to believe. But I want you to know that you're not alone. that the entities, the holy ones, the consciousness is itself breathing into that space. The stories of the cycles of destruction have been a part of our human experience for much too long, and it is time for us to awaken to the prize of what comfort is, to rest in the place of comfort again. Believe with me to the place of comfort again. Well, I wanted to share this with you here on the Lion's Gate because my next book is going to be The Eighth Direction. And it's going to be in the series of the Sacred Seven. It's going to be about how we create and optimize faith. How we believe in the power of our own gift of manifestation. Not just about getting more money in our bank account or getting a nice car or a nice house, but actually how we hold space for collective consciousness, for the earth, for the manifestation of the giftings that the Creator has given us. I have seen the vision. You know, I'm a time traveler. I came from the future to the past to let you know where we're going is better than where we're at. And to usher that in with the proclamation onto the nations that inside of emotional sovereignty is liberation. And once we find liberation, we are able to focus our energies like the blue flame fire that cuts through the chains of captivity, no longer burning like the destructive force of a forest fire. This is not how we are meant to burn, relative. I see you burning like that in the vacuum of space, cutting through the chains of captivity that have been even generational curses in your life. I know that well. I wanted to share this with you. If you got something from this message, please share it out. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Beauty above, beauty below, beauty beside, beauty in front, beauty behind, beauty within. I am, we are made beautiful again.